much more. That may sound like a lot of buzzwords, but really all that matters is we can deliver a relevant and ideal target audience to your business with data-informed decisions. No guessing, no waste, and you gain a trusted marketing partner with Town Square Media.
Take your business to the next level. Call our Director of Sales, Jim McLean, today at 609-910-5247.
Sports is what we do.
You're in your car, you're in your house, you're wherever you are. You're a sports fan.
97.3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Friday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, and it's been an interesting news day, to say the least. Aside from the fact that Damian Lillard just signed a 2-year contract extension, we got news on James Harden, we got news on the Flyers making big moves, and the Phillies weekend. Yes, the Phillies are in a 4-game set tonight through Monday with the Cardinals. To get more into the Phillies and the baseball weekend, Steve Buchanan from DraftKings will join us coming up tonight here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. As always, you can join the conversation. 609-403-0973 is the text board. 97.3 ESPN mobile app. All you need to know with the Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, South Jersey, and you can DM the show through the app as well as listen to us wherever you go. I can't not start with the James Harden news because when Shams first reported this a little earlier this afternoon, I got to tell you, I was shocked. I was very surprised. Not because I expected Harden to not take less money, but I was surprised at the number that was put out there. And look, we all know that, and for those who don't know, just maybe you're not as familiar with who Shams Charania is, him and Adrian Wojnarowski are the two biggest NBA reporting insiders on planet Earth. Like, they are the two people that if they report it, you know it's truth, it's gospel, it's real. Well, today, Shams Charania reports that James Harden is going to take a $15 million pay cut from what his player option could have been at $47 million, and he's going to sign a 2-year deal, but it's actually a 1+1 deal where this year will be guaranteed and next year will be a player option. Now, this is massive because, one, James Harden, we already knew, was planning to take a pay cut of some sort for the Sixers to be able to build around him and Embiid. Guess what? This means that James Harden is more interested in winning than he is money. Everything that Philadelphia fans ever wanted, ever cried for, ever bemoaned in the modern athlete, James Harden is giving it to you tenfold. And the fact that Harden is this serious about trying, and I say trying, okay, we don't know how it's going to play out yet, so I can't predict the future per se, but here's what I do know. Harden is trying to give the Sixers the best opportunity to succeed. So signing PJ Tucker, signing Daniel House, acquiring DeAnthony Melton, and whatever other deals may come, Harden is giving the Sixers the financial flexibility needed to win. But he's also betting on himself. If you're James Harden, you're signing this deal because what you're saying is that last year was an anomaly. I'm going to go out and prove myself so that way I can hit the open market again either next year or the year after and get my last big contract. Now, I don't know what that number for the last big contract would be. Maybe Harden is just a guy who's like, look, I don't need $50 million. If I just get a few more years of 35, 37 million, I'm good. I don't know what his personal financial planning is, but as I told Mike Gill earlier today on the Sports Bash, man, that party in the Hamptons must have been great because Harden came out of a party with him, Daryl Morey, and former Sixers minority owner Michael Rubin, and basically has come out and said, I don't need an extra $15 million from the Sixers. Go spend that money elsewhere. And we're all looking around like, wait, what? Seriously? Really? I don't know what was said between Morey and Harden. And I know some people are joking about Michael Rubin's going to give him some sort of kickback on the back end. Look, we all know the realities that these pro athletes make money off of more things than just their salary, okay? LeBron James is a billionaire, and it's not because of the money he made as an NBA player. It's because of all of his business ventures outside of the NBA arena. Now, those deals that he has made in his career are stipulative on LeBron James's success in the NBA arena, but he's made a ton of money outside the NBA. So for Harden, I'm sure there's a part of him that looks around and says, hey man, I can make the 15 million somewhere else or some other point. Or maybe he just doesn't care at all. Maybe he's just like, look, winning is that important to me. Because part of the Shams report is that Harden wants to win this upcoming season, period. So maybe for Harden, this is more about winning than anything else. And I think we should applaud him. I think that people should show him a ton of respect. I think all the people who spoke ill of Harden and Daryl Morey should be, walking up to the altar and confessing their sins. I mean, this is ridiculous that you finally get somebody who's doing the right thing, who's doing it to win. And look, I'm not trying to be mean, but in a situation like this, for an athlete to say no to 15 million and people not to be screaming from the rooftops right now. I mean, I think we got maybe a handful of texts earlier today on the Sports Bash about it throughout the day. When the news came out, there were a handful of people who stepped up and like, wow, that's great. Or, wow. But when Harden has a bad game, the text board is out of hand ripping him. Now that he does something good, people are quiet. This is why I can't take people seriously when they cry and moan about pro athletes. People are more drawn to the negative than the positive. I watched American Underdog last night, the Kurt Warner movie, and it was an incredible movie. I didn't get a chance to see it when it came out in theaters. I finally got to see it last night on Hulu. And it's awesome. And Zachary Levi does an amazing job. And if I had to nitpick something about the movie, Dennis Quaid playing Dick Vermeil was not the best choice. Okay. No offense, but while everyone in the movie looked and sounded and felt like the characters they were portraying, like the lady who played Brenda Warner looked like Brenda Warner, Zach Levi sounded like Kurt Warner, looked like Kurt Warner on the football field. It was like Dennis Quaid was playing Dennis Quaid pretending to be Dick Vermeil. So if I have a criticism of the movie, that's it. But otherwise, the movie was phenomenal. But stuff like that doesn't get talked about enough because it's a feel-good story. There's a lot of positivity. Kurt Warner's a great guy. It's not negative enough. I just hope that at some point, we as a sports fandom can just allow something good to happen and be happy with it. Look at the other side of the equation with the Flyers acquiring Tony DeAngelo. Look, I understand that DeAngelo has a history. He's got baggage, as they call it. He's gotten in trouble in the minors. He's gotten in trouble in the NHL. He's been, caught using different prejudiced names, shall I call it? Slurs, whatever you want to call them, okay? He's been very outspoken in his personal and social and political beliefs. He's been abrasive. He has gone after teammates. But he is also one of the best at what he does. And to me, I don't understand why people hate this guy. I see people online saying, "Oh, Philadelphia, bringing in a bad guy. We don't need another bad person in this organization." I don't think Tony DeAngelo is a bad person. I think he's made a bunch of mistakes. I think that he needs to maybe grow up a little bit and be a little mature in how he handles himself in public and in private. But we act like that we don't make excuses for people all the time if they help you win. If the Flyers win a cup this upcoming year, are we really going to be talking about how Tony DeAngelo has baggage? Or are we going to be talking about how, man, it was a great move by Chuck Fletcher to get this guy? If the Sixers win a championship, are we really going to care that James Harden had a poor playoff last year? Or are we going to talk about what he did this year? See, this is where I draw the line personally. You know me. Anyone who listens to me long enough knows I will criticize you if you deserve to be criticized, and I will praise you if you deserve to be praised. If I'm right about something, I'll let you know. I'll also let you know if I'm wrong about something. And I don't see anybody willing to give Tony DeAngelo a chance. Look, I understand that there's a lot of people who are very loud, who come from certain persuasions in terms of Twitter and social media. Well, let me tell you what Tony DeAngelo is bringing to this Flyers team that I think most people are not considering. When was the last time that Philadelphia had a villain? Seriously, when was the last time that if you were an opponent, you came to Philadelphia and the other team literally groaned and moaned about playing against somebody? I'm not saying that Tony DeAngelo is this great player. He's going to be the reason why the Flyers win a championship per se. But he's going to give you something you haven't had in a while. The anti-hero. The guy the other team can't stand to talk to or be around or deal with. It's been a while since Philadelphia sports has had a real bad guy. The closest thing we've had in the last few years is Mike Scott with the Sixers. And even he was more lovable than he was anything else. But I think the Flyers need someone like this. You need somebody to go out there to bring a vibe to your locker room and just be the pain in the rear. And I think DeAngelo showed last year in Carolina that he can play for a hard-nosed coach, a guy who's going to demand a lot of his players like Rod Brindamore. Tortorella is going to do that here in Philadelphia. And I think that the Flyers bring DeAngelo here saying, look, Tortorella is going to maximize this guy because he knows that Tortorella is going to find a way to harness that energy, that aggression, that passion, that volatility that DeAngelo brings to the ice, that brings to the organization. And I think that in Philadelphia, this is going to be an incredible winter year in several months. Because when the Eagles season winds down, whenever that is, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a Flyers team with some edge, and you're going to have a Sixers team with a guy who's going to go to the Hall of Fame one day who took a $15 million pay cut. I mean, that's some pretty cool stuff right there, in my opinion. I am Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app. You can DM the show, as always, through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Also, text board is open at 609-403-1111. 0973. I see some messages coming in. We will get to you guys a little bit later in the show. But coming up next, Phillies Cardinals. Very important 4-game weekend in St. Louis. Talk some baseball with DraftKings Steve Buchanan next here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging out with you on a Friday.
This weekend on Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio.
Way back, and it's gone. Aaron Judge keeps them on their feet.
It's the next chapter in one of the fiercest rivalries in all of sports as Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees head to Fenway Park to face Xander Bogaerts and the Boston Red Sox. The Yankees and Red Sox. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern and Sunday at 6 Eastern.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. SpringfieldMitsu.com.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of a new laundry set that provides a powerful yet gentle clean in less time, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Final days. Get up to 25% off plus $750 instant savings on select appliances through July 13th. Valid June 22nd through July 13th. U.S. only. Gas dryer extra. See store for details.
I love my hardwood floors, but I wasn't sure how to take care of them. Carrying around a bucket was such a hassle. And even worse, my string mop left streaks and haze behind. Then I found Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, the all-in-one tool made specially for wood floors. Its microfiber-like pad is soft, and it sprays a light mist solution that dries fast. With Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, it's easy to keep up with the mess on my wood floors. Even that mess.
Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, proud member of the National Wood Floor Association.
Hi, Tom Bodette here. Thinking about road tripping to the family reunion. Potato salad, doing battle with the sun, dog crawling all over the cousins, and nothing brings us closer than someone squished in the middle seat. Well, it's a good thing Motel 6 has clean, comfortable rooms at a great low rate. They'll get you out of that minivan so the kids can get all spiffed up before Grandma starts pinching their cheeks. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
If you have certain chronic conditions such as heart disease,
asthma,
diabetes, and you're 19 years of age or older,
52, 36,
42, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'm going to ask my doctor
about getting vaccinated
with Prevnar 20.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole in one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
Almost 3 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage, the world's only nose cleaner that helps flush out airborne germs with powered suction. But what do doctors have to say about Navage? Here's Dr. Tonya Farmer, a board-certified ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Most airborne allergens and viruses enter through your nose. When that happens, it can cause congestion and irritation, and that just makes you feel miserable. You can get a cold, you can get flu, sinus infections, or even worse. Flushing your nose with a saline solution is the most effective way to flush all of those dangerous threats out of your nose. So now when patients come in my office, I tell them I highly recommend that you use Navage on a daily basis for overall good health and wellness.
And Navage is all natural and drug-free at Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Hi, I'm Ag Secretary Doug Fisher. Whether you eat cucumbers as a snack, in a salad, or pickled, Jersey Fresh cucumbers are now in season. Find Jersey Fresh cucumbers today at your favorite market. Ask, is it local? Is it Jersey Fresh?
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
With your guys' thoughts and comments, just a bit. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. The Phillies start a 4-game series this weekend. And if the Phillies win at least 2 out of 4, they will hold the tiebreaker over the Cardinals. If at the end of the year, it comes down to the Phillies and the Cardinals tied for the wild card, the Phillies are in. That's how important this weekend series is to get into all of that and more baseball conversation now. Steve Buchanan from DraftKings joins us on 97.3 ESPN. Steve, how you doing today?
Good. Hey, that'll nugget there. You and I have talked about how important that NL Central could end up being. So now this is very, very pivotal.
I think it's also interesting that we lucked out that we got Wheeler and Wainwright tonight. So you got their two best pitchers just mano-y-mano tonight. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't expect a lot of runs to be scored early in this game.
No, for sure, too. And you're getting the Cardinals at like the perfect time because like that offense has gone ice cold all of a sudden. I don't know if you've looked, but like they haven't scored more than 3 runs in 5 straight games now. 1.4 runs averaging over those 5 games, and they've been shut out twice in that span. And then Wheeler just saw this team. His last start, I think it was like 6 shutout innings in that one, 7 shutout innings in that game, struck out 5. Like you're getting them at a good time because that offense is very, very good. It's not going to stay like this forever. But if there was ever a time to take advantage of that lack of production that they're getting at the plate, this is the time right now.
When you think about this wild card race, look, we know that there's going to be multiple teams coming out of the NL West. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, but outside of the West, are the Phillies among the teams that now we're ready to say they are right in there? I know in the standings they are, but does the eye test pass it for you, Steve?
It's going to be interesting because obviously the loss of Harper is massive. I mean, that doesn't matter whatever team Harper's on. That's a huge loss. And now it's like, and I think the last time you and I talked about it was like, well, what does this team need? And at the time, Harper was still healthy. Well, now it's like, well, they could use a corner outfielder, right? that would be a nice little upgrade for them to get. But they've played well without Harper. Now, is it going to stay that way though? And here's the issue too. Harper went down, and then who immediately started to get hot? Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber is your perfect example of a peaks and valley types hitter. He's going to go out there. He's going to go on a 2-week stretch where he clubs like 7 home runs. And then he goes on another 3-week stretch where he absolutely ghosts the lineup. And you go, okay, well, what the hell is this guy doing in my leadoff spot? I can't have this guy in my leadoff spot anymore. So I think the perception is that this team is ready to compete. And a lot of that has to do with Schwarber because he's been an absolute monster over the past 3 weeks now or so. But if we know anything about Schwarber and what he's known for, it's these peaks and valleys type streaks. So yes, the production has still been there and a big part of it has been Schwarber, but what does his team look like when Schwarber cools down? That's why I think it really comes down to, and that's why I think it really gets interesting. And that's where I really think the panic button is going to set in because if Schwarber cools down, then we're really talking about a lack of production at the top of that lineup. So it looks great right now. Don't get me wrong. But I think a lot of it has to do with how well Schwarber's hitting, but that's not the type of guy he's going to be able to do for 162 games.
A lot of people in this area have brought up the fact that Castellanos had that cold streak, the fact that center field is, well, it's a disaster right now between Odubel Herrera and Mickey Moniak. You know, there's a lot of people who are saying, hey, you know, maybe Andrew Benintendi, maybe somebody like that. But if the Phillies got a legitimate center fielder, does that make you say, outside looking in, because around here, if Benintendi is playing center field, I feel like every Phillies fan would be like thanking God right now. But from the outside looking in, is that all it takes, or does this team need more?
I think it's close because if you get Benintendi, you should be hitting him leadoff. And that would really make a nice ripple effect throughout the rest of the lineup because, Schwarber is nice at the top, but is he your top guy? Is he someone that should be leading off? Probably not, right? You want to take somebody who can draw a walk and get on base. Benintendi is that guy. He's got a 388 on base percentage on the year. That's the guy that's going to get on base and kind of set the table for the rest of the lineup so that if Harper does come back for the playoffs, you have somebody like Benintendi at the top, a lefty, by the way, too, which is always helpful. Have somebody at the top that can get on base. And that really sets the table because now you have to pitch someone like Schwarber differently. Now you've pitched someone like Castellanos differently because Benintendi's getting on base right at the top. That's the problem with Schwarber, in the leadoff spot or in the second spot is he's not a guy that's going to get on base. He's either, hitting for extra bases, which is great, but he leaves first base open, or he's striking out and then that's it. And now you're already in the heart of the order and nobody's on base. So that would create such a massive ripple effect, I think, for the rest of the lineup. And I don't think that can be stated enough. Now, is the price for Benintendi going to be worth it? Because this is a name that's being floated around a lot lately, right? Because he's one of the top guys. The Royals are going nowhere. Benintendi is that guy. He can hit, he can get on base, he can swipe a bag too if he needs to. The bidding for him is going to be very high, and especially with 3 wildcard teams, many more teams are in contention this year than ever, right? So there's going to be a lot more buyers than there are probably sellers. So I fear that the price tag for Benintendi is going to be massive.
I want to give you a question that I gave people around here the other day. So obviously, Long Ball Hall, Derek Hall has come up here and just been on fire. 4 home runs in 8 games. It's absolutely ridiculous. But Rhys Hoskins has been hitting very well recently too. He's been hitting the cover off the ball. If you are Dave Dombrowski and you had to trade somebody, is it Hall or is it Hoskins to make this team better?
Oh, man.
They play the same position.
Yeah. And the thing with Hall, too, is that his numbers throughout the minors, he's always had that pop, right? This was somebody who was down in AAA, hit 20 home runs, I think, before he's called up, if I remember that correctly, has reached that 20 home run mark before in different levels. I know he definitely did it in single A. I want to say he also did it in double A, but don't quote me on that. But this is somebody who's had that massive power before. And then you obviously have an age difference here too as well. But with that being said, who's going to get you the bigger return? Is it going to be Hoskins or is it going to be Hall? Do you want to take the 3-year age difference and kind of gamble here and get something better with Hall? Or do you just cut out with Hoskins? And granted, we're not talking about a big age difference, but Hoskins is knocking on the door of his 30s and Hall is 26. But we really haven't seen what Hall can do in the majors. And this is what, happens when these rookies come up. This offseason was flush with minor league talent that all made the opening day roster. Julio Rodriguez, Spencer Torkelson, Bobby Witt Jr. Of the 3, the only guy that's really made a big impact has been Julio Rodriguez. Not saying that these other kids aren't going to do what they were always touted to do, but that's what happens when these minor league guys. Julio Rodriguez is the guy we thought he was going to be, at least for the first half of the season. Is Hall going to be that power guy all throughout the majors? We don't know yet. But that type of intrigue and that type of youth is what teams kind of strive for. And first base is going to be a very hard position too. The Boston Red Sox, right in my hometown, desperately need a first baseman. Maybe Hoskins is that guy. Maybe Hall is that guy. So he has the benefit of being younger and he has the benefit of playing first base. Personally, and this is from an outsider, so don't be upset, I think you roll with Hall. And I think if you're going to trade one, you got to trade Hoskins.
You mentioned about Hall. He had 27 home runs at Lakewood. That's single A.
Okay.
Then at double A, Reading, he had 20 home runs. Last year, he had 14 home runs at triple A. And this year, he had 20 home runs at triple A. So as you said, each year, by the way, in college, he hit 20 home runs at Dallas Baptist as well. I feel like that number 20 is a pretty common number for him at each level there. Gotta love the symmetry there between college all the way up. But seriously though, that's the conundrum, because Philadelphia has seen us before. They had Jim Thome, and then here comes Ryan Howard. So the Philly fan has seen this before, and there's a lot of fans that are conflicted right now because it's like, hey, do you sell high on Hall? Like, he's super hot right now. Yeah. To me, I think it comes down to what's going to be most important moving forward. And my concern, Steve, is the money. Hoskins got to get paid soon. And you already gave money to Castellanos and Schwarber and Real Muto, unless you're going to trade Real Muto and bring up Logan Hoppe, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, so I mean, it really points to that it's got to be Hoskins. So if you're going to be trading Hoskins, you might as well try to get something for him. And that was kind of the conundrum here in Boston in the first month or so. The team starts off very slow, and then already the chatter comes up. All right, well, you got to trade Bogarts then, because Bogarts is probably going to walk at the end of the year. So you got to at least get something for him. You can't just let him walk and get nothing for him. Now the team's in contention. Now it's like, oh, don't trade him yet. We're back in it. Don't trade him just yet. That's the problem with the Phillies right now. They need some upgrade in that lineup. Maybe Benintendi's that guy. Maybe that is your guy. But is it enough at the expense of that you're either losing Hall or Hoskins? But if Dombrowski's not going to bring back Hoskins, he's got to be the guy. And then you just got to roll with Hall. Obviously he'll be in arbitration for a few years and you just go with that. But at least I would say first base for the most part is a pretty stacked position that even if Hall doesn't work out, you're going to get somebody else at some point. Maybe it's not the flashy player that you want, but first base is pretty flush throughout Major League Baseball. We're not talking like second base or anything like that, where it's a very tough position to fill once you lost your superstar there. But I think Hoskins is probably the answer, and he'll probably bring back a good return too, because he's that veteran presence who is hitting well now. Wasn't the case in the beginning of the year, but is hitting well now. That might end up being the guy.
Steve Buchanan from DraftKings joining us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, at SBuchanan24 on Twitter. Back to the wild card race, which is the Phillies in the middle of. It's very weird because talk about the Cardinals, who they're facing again this weekend. Cardinals, they had the stat on Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, Wainwright and McCullers, amazing. The rest of the pitching staff, just straight garbage, right?
Yeah.
Can a team like the Cardinals even make the playoffs with a pitching staff like that? Because to me, that's a clear sign they need to acquire pitchers at the deadline.
For sure, but it feels like they do this almost every year, right? Like they when you look at that, when you look at all the teams that are in contention, the Cardinals are like never that team that jumps out and you're like, oh, watch out for that juggernaut, right? But they do enough that they make it every single year, and it's like, well, here they are again. But it also has a lot to do with that just putrid division, right? If it's the Brewers, it's the Cardinals, and then forget the rest. Cubs, Pirates, Reds, years away. Nowhere even close to being in contention. Now, if the Cardinals were in any other division, then yes, they're struggling to make the playoffs on a year-to-year basis. So they have the benefit of that there. They definitely do need to acquire some pitching because it's looking more and more likely like Jack Flaherty is not going to be much of a factor this year. And Jack Flaherty was, someone 2 years ago was somebody who was in the Cy Young talk contention. And quite frankly, with the second half that he had, it was either in 2019 or 2020, like he easily could have won that award. That's how good he was. But he's already come back. He's already back on the IL, so they lost that guy's there. Wainwright, it's like, for me, it's like, well, when is the last domino going to fall? Right? Like he's kind of like Justin Verlander for me. Like he's pitching well still, even late into the age, but I feel like all of a sudden it's going to be like, and it's gone. Right? That's just me being a jerk and saying that. I have nothing to back that up. But Father Time has shown us over and over again, unless you're Tom Brady, it's going to come and it's going to happen. So if one of your main guys is Adam Wainwright, who is knocking on the door of 40, you got to get something in there soon. And I know that, Matthew Liberatore hasn't exactly panned out in the majors yet. Still young, got a lot of talent, not worried about him, but they definitely need some pitching help at this deadline. But I think you could almost say that about more than half the teams in Major League Baseball right now. So it's going to come at a premium, and the premium you're going to be paying for some of the starters available, I'd be worried about it. When it's Jose Quintana, when it's Martin Perez, when those are some of the top guys available, you're going to be overpaying for mediocre pitching.
You mentioned Verlander. Is that the guy, the most freakazoid player in baseball right now? I mean, the dude did pitch for almost 3 years, and he's got a whip of like 0.8 or something like that?
I mean, look at what he's got at home. I'd be pitching well too.
For those who are unaware, Justin Verlander is married to Kate Upton. So
yep, yeah, no, he's doing fine.
Yeah,
he's doing fine.
I just had to inform. I just had to inform the uninformed out there. So
yeah, I mean, if I were him, I'd be trying to rush to retire. That's just me. That's me.
So wait, so are you saying that the real key to getting pitchers to pitch faster is getting better home lives? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think that's a nice way to put it. I mean, I'll tell you who's not doing that, right? Is at the Padres. What's his? Not the Padres. Now I'm forgetting his name. The one that had all the controversy. His wife was like outing him. He was at the Diamondbacks. I can't remember his name now. Did you hear about this story?
No, I didn't.
His wife was like, "Oh, he ghosted me, and I haven't seen him in like a year." Zach Davies. That's who it is.
wait. So let me get this straight. So Zach Davies' wife,
yes,
basically came out and was like, "This guy is ignoring me." I guess.
Yes, I haven't talked to him in a year. He's ghosted me. I can't. He changed his number. Oh yeah. Oh, read up on it during the next commercial break. Zach Davies. Yep, that's what it is. Yep.
Apparently,
he's doing the opposite of Verlander.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually seeing it now. Estranged wife, it says. She shared this on Instagram.
Correct.
She did.
Yep.
Including pictures of the divorce papers.
Oh yeah. Yep. And it's no surprise that Zach Davies is not pitching well. So I mean, there it is. I mean, now it's a science experiment. We have two examples.
Oh my gosh. What was I gonna ask you before we went on this time? You gotta try to revive myself.
How good Verlander's been.
The wild card race.
Yes.
Are the Giants real this year? That's why I wanted to ask you, because last year they were really good. Yeah. And it's like Buster Posey retires and they're one game above 500.
Yep. It's funny too, because I'm like the worst person to ask this about the Giants, because I kept saying last year, no, they're not for real. They're going to fall off. They're going to fall off. They never fell off. They made the playoffs. They had over 100 wins. They were incredible. Here's the difference this year, though. That stellar pitching. Now, and here's what happened last year. They got career best pitching out of 3 different guys at the same time. So then they bring basically all of them back. Then they bring on Carlos Rodon, and it's oh my God, this is going to be the best rotation in baseball. Now, all those guys who had stellar years like Alex Wood and all that, now they're going back to how they used to be. And now this is suddenly a team that's one game over 500, like you said, has a plus 20 run differential, which is not that good at all. And now they're starting to falter. So, and they're 2-8 over their last 10, I think it is. They've really been struggling. And they're in danger of missing out on the wild card because they're 2 games behind of St. Louis at this point. And some of the other teams that are right behind them aren't all that competitive, but the Marlins are only 4 games out of a wild card spot at this time. They've been playing pretty well, 6-4 in their last 10. So the Giants' big thing is, amazingly, they need pitching, which is they had a surplus of before the season began. And that was their that's what they could tout the most. They have so much pitching. They don't know what to do with it. But now they're not getting anything out of any of these guys. So now that's another team who's in desperate need of pitching. But like I mentioned earlier, you're paying the premium because everybody feels like they need pitching. So I think the Giants are finally starting to look like the team that they probably should have looked like last year, because now all these guys are back on their career track, I guess you could say.
All right, Steve, before I let you go, I want to hit on something that's a little close to your neck of the woods. You mentioned how you're up there in Boston area. Red Sox, Yankees this weekend. The question was asked earlier today on ESPN Radio National, why has the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry lost its juice on a larger scale? Now, I know among the fans, you ask a Yankee fan, you ask a Red Sox fan, there's no love lost. It's all still, pure respect and hate to the umpteenth power for those fans. But everybody else, apparently there's a conversation about what happened. What are your thoughts?
Red Sox started winning a lot, and you don't have those dynamic characters on either team anymore. At the height of this Yankee drama back in the early 2000s, you had Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez, Derek Jeter, just larger than life personalities going against each other. And these two teams had like a legit hatred for each other. It really felt like there isn't that anymore. Like the biggest villain of the rivalry right now is Garrett Cole, right? And he doesn't pitch well at Fenway Park. We saw it again last night. After last night, since he's joined the Yankees, his ERA at Fenway Park is over 7. Like it's just, it's not fun when you're constantly beating up on that one same guy. You want to kind of like a volley back and forth. The Yankees are so stacked right now that it's almost like they just have the clear advantage, where in the early 2000s, these teams were always like neck and neck, and it was like an underdog story. But once the Red Sox won, that's where the allure kind of was lost, because it was always that David and Goliath story where the Yankees always win, the Red Sox can always come up short. Once they took them out in the 04 ALCS and came back from that 3-0 deficit, the storybook ending happened. Now it's kind of back on an even keel. So it's like once somebody starts to really separate themselves, and maybe that's what the Yankees are doing right now, that's when that rivalry starts to brew up again. But with expanded playoffs too, both these teams are always in it. So it's like that rivalry has kind of lost that allure, I think. So I would agree with that. Yeah.
Now, your answer is similar to what my Boston afternoon host, Mike Gill, in the Sports Bash said. So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked him, because you are also a wrestling guy like he is. Isn't it then for baseball to rewrite the story, retell the narrative, flip who the heel is to, all that stuff? Like, isn't it on saying, okay, well, maybe the Red Sox are the evil empire, or, hey, there's no larger than life personality. Well, create one, make one, like find a guy, like, somebody go chase down Devers in the locker room and get him to say something crazy. Like Chris Sale is destroying equipment in the minor leagues. All the Red Sox are, look at these guys, like, don't you have to, as baseball, if the love is lost, restart the fire?
So here's what I would say. You know where the fire is? It's in Boston and Boston only. This place hates the management. This city hates the management. This city hates the ownership for being cheap and for really spreading the money around to other organizations in other leagues. This whole group together owns the Penguins now, I believe it is. LeBron James is in the mix and has like a partial ownership of this club. So it's like the rivalry now is actually within the organization. It's the fans versus the ownership. They haven't re-signed Devers. They haven't re-signed Bogarts. That's really it's all coming right now. So I would say the biggest rivalry right now is the fans versus the organization. That feels like the rivalry in Boston right now. So the Red Sox faction, maybe that's the heel, and the fans there are the baby face.
The problem is that's not a good selling point. That's not
at all.
That would be like saying the WWE fans are the hero and fill in the blank guy is the villain. It's like you can't have a fight between like the guy in the ring and the fans outside the ring.
That's just what creative came up with. That's the story they're writing right now. I can't do anything about that. I just have to watch. That's it.
Oh my goodness. By the way, really quick, I also heard someone say recently that people care more about Yankees versus Astros and Yankees versus Red Sox. I don't understand that, honestly. I mean, you're on MLB Network 2-3 days a week. Like, you and I both watch, the national stuff. I would never say Yankees Astros are a greater rivalry than the Red Sox.
I would say it's a better recent rivalry with the controversy that happened a couple of years ago.
With the controversy, right?
Yes. I would say that is definitely a more flavor of the week type thing.
Okay.
But and nationally too. I would say that is definitely a national thing. Yankees Red Sox are never going to go away, but I would say that there definitely is more buzz about the Yankees Astro series than you would imagine. I would partially agree with that. So yes.
Okay. All right. He's Steve Buchanan from DraftKings. Give him a follow on Twitter at SBuchanan21, sporting and I saw you wearing it this morning as well. That is a really sharp, crisp DK polo you got going on. I mean, is that like the summer special line there?
It is, because I'm actually going to the All-Star game next week. So I got all new clothing from DK to sport while I'm out there. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start breaking this in now before I get out to LA. And then there we go. See, that's thinking ahead, you know?
You are thinking ahead. Because I saw you wear it first this morning, and I did a double take, and I'm like, that is a fresh DraftKings polo. Now, the problem is that I'm sure Flores was too fumbling over himself with the intro for you on MLB Central to actually notice what you were wearing. So,
well, I'm seeing them in person next week, so this will be in his face next week. So he'll know I'm wearing it next week for sure.
Here's what I need you to do: if you see him in person and he compliments the shirt, you have to say back to him, Robert, I was wearing the shirt last week and you didn't notice.
I'm going to say it like that verbatim when I see him next week. 100%. With that type of energy, too.
Love it. Steve, appreciate you jumping on. Take care of yourself. Have a good weekend.
All right, man. You too. Talk to you later.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea City. We're checking on the text board. I got Tom from Margate and others chiming in at 609-403-0973. And you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free, thanks to First Bank of Sea City.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein. Mike Carlin joins me in the studio. The Phillies head to St. Louis, where the Cardinals are looking for revenge. We'll have a recap of Game 1. The sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan checks in from Vegas with his insights on the betting trends. Hour 2, it's the Beach Patrol Report. This week, we'll have all the results from the first 2 big events of the season and interviews with the winners. All that and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
I'll ring you up in a second. Kim, can you see if we have more acid wash?
Desmona's thrift store is the spot for killer vintage finds.
Oh, that looks fabulous on you. Hey, can you do the register?
But her sales clerk situation feels pretty threadbare.
Oh, yeah, let me clear out that fitting room.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
I love my hardwood floors, but I wasn't sure how to take care of them. Carrying around a bucket was such a hassle. And even worse, my string mop left streaks and haze behind. Then I found Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, the all-in-one tool made specially for wood floors. Its microfiber-like pad is soft, and it sprays a light mist solution that dries fast. With Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, it's easy to keep up with the mess on my wood floors. Even that mess.
Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, proud member of the National Wood Floor Association.
Dell's Black Friday and July sale is here. Power productivity with a tech refresh, now with up to 45% off top-rated laptops like the XPS, along with our special deals on business desktops with Intel Core processors. Get big savings on the latest servers, storage, monitors, and more with free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Upgrade today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Everyone loves shopping online. Well, I'm going to tell you what I tell my golf buddies when they buy clubs. Stop searching for coupon codes. Download Capital One Shopping to your computer. Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them at checkout. Plus, it's free, and you don't even need a Capital One card to use it. That's like hitting a hole-in-one without even trying. Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Savings and available coupons vary.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Almost 3 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage, the world's only nose cleaner that helps flush out airborne germs with powered suction. But what do doctors have to say about Navage? Here's Dr. Tonya Farmer, a board-certified ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Most airborne allergens and viruses enter through your nose. When that happens, it can cause congestion and irritation, and that just makes you feel miserable. You can get a cold, you can get flu, sinus infections, or even worse. Flushing your nose with a saline solution is the most effective way to flush all of those dangerous threats out of your nose. So now when patients come in my office, I tell them I highly recommend that you use Navage on a daily basis for overall good health and wellness.
And Navage is all natural and drug-free at Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
And now an important message from music superstar Willie Nelson.
I've been fighting for legalization of the one thing that can bring comfort to millions. And of course, I'm talking about Skechers.
Can we stop the commercial? Willie, I don't think Skechers are illegal anywhere.
Really? But they feel so good.
No, you can wear them anywhere, Willie.
Well, pass the Skechers.
Skechers comfort feels so good because Skechers is the comfort technology company and has all the fits and features you need for ultimate comfort. Find Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
This is Ag Secretary Doug Fisher, reminding you to ask where that produce on your favorite retailer's shelves comes from. In New Jersey, if it says local or Jersey fresh, you know it came from our growers in the Garden State. Buy local. Buy Jersey Fresh today.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by the AC Airport. Plan your next vacation now. Spirit Airlines is offering nonstop flights from Atlantic City International Airport to Boston, Atlanta, San Juan, Miami, and other exciting destinations. Visit spirit.com to book your next trip. As promised, because what you guys have to say right now, text board is open as always at 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Tom and Margate, excuse me, wow, where did that come from? Tom and Margate chimes in and says, hey, Josh, in my humble opinion, if the Phillies are going to trade for anyone at any level, they should get another good starting pitcher. We need 3 or 4 solid starters for the playoffs. Do you think we can get the wild card? Don't forget to try Black Velvet this weekend. That's from Tom and Margate. Well, a couple things there, Tom, to get to. Number one, I would say that you always need more pitching. You never can have enough pitching. I think the pitching thing has become a little more of an eyesore, shall I call it right now, because of the situation with Eflin and Ranger Suarez on the injured list. And the fact that they sent Bailey Falter back down to the minors, and you got Christopher Sanchez pitching. I think right now it looks worse than it is. So I understand where you're coming from. Can the Phillies get the wild card? Absolutely. But they got to get 2 out of 4 this weekend. See, this road trip comes down to this to me. You got to get 2 out of 4 against the Cardinals. And then in some scenario, you need to get 3 out of 5 of those 5 games, the 2 in Toronto and the 3 then in Miami. And the reason I put it that way is because to me, Tom and Margate, you want to go into the All-Star break solidly in the wild card race numbers. Because right now, you are tied with the Cardinals. So, if you win the season series against the Cardinals, you will always be ahead of them in the standings. Then, if you at least can win a couple in Miami, you're 4 ahead of them right now in the wild card standings. Maybe you can make that 5 or 6. And you got to win at least one of the Toronto games, in my opinion. Because that way, you guarantee that you have the momentum necessary to keep it going in Miami, a place that has been a thorn in your side. So I think the Phillies are a wild card team. I think that they can survive without Harper and with Segura for a little while longer, but they got to keep getting consistent pitching and hitting, and they're going to need to make at least 2 trades, in my opinion. They're going to need pitching, but the center field situation is an abomination, as I said earlier, and you got to fill the void. We were told before the year by Dombrowski and company that the Phillies had a good enough platoon between Herrera and Vierling. Well, now between Herrera, Vierling, and Moniak, it's just not good enough. You got to improve that position. I think that the Phillies get a legitimate center fielder and improve the pitching, then they're a lock for the wild card. Also on the text board at 609-403-0973. Texter chimes in and says, Sixer fans may not be able to show it now, but when Harden's feet hit the court this season, he will be showered with love. Listen, I know the Sixer fans are going to shower him with love when the season starts. I'm just saying that fans are so quick to jump on a guy when he plays bad or looks bad or seems bad, but they're not as quick to jump when he does something good. That's my bigger point. I don't doubt listen, I guarantee you one thing. If Johnny Gaudreau and Tony DeAngelo are in the orange and black this year, the fans will be there. The fans will be there for Harden. I just want a little bit more consistency. That's all.